Hey guys! That's what we say?
That's what we say.
Okay. Hey! Just Clayton and Ryan here today, so if you guys want to go ahead and if you guys need anything else to do, that's fine. But we're going to go through some awesome new kits we did. Ryan's here.
We've gone from making you like the talent on it to making you the host, and you are talking so loud right now.
Am I?
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep the energy up.
I've never seen you like this.
I'm trying to keep the energy up.
He knows he's got to compensate for me. So.
I do. Ryan's pretty soft-spoken here. I want to make sure you guys can hear me over him. Anyway, so thanks for that interruption, Tony.
Sorry, go ahead.
We're going to do some super exciting things here today. We've been revamping some of our stitching kits.
Yeah.
Ryan, what have we done?
So we used to have multiple overstitch wheel and all kits. We've consolidated those into one that's a little more refined, and then we've got a round hole punch hand stitching kit and a lacing kit. So a little more options to get you started on our kits now.
Absolutely.
We've actually got those over with Holly. I forgot to grab before we started to show them off.
Is Holly over there?
They're right in her bin behind her, the yellow bin there.
Yeah, we should check those out.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to be much more beginner friendly.
Yep.
Obviously, whenever you're buying a hand stitching kit, you're probably going to be a beginner, or at least a beginner at hand stitching. So you need the basic tools to get started. What's one key component that these don't include?
That these don't include? Oh, a mallet.
That's what I was looking for.
Gonna need you a good solid
winner
poly mallet. Don't want to use a steel hammer because you'll ruin the tools real quick that way.
Absolutely.
We've got our new consolidated overstitcher kit here. Very similar to our old one. We've got some standard wax thread, a couple needles and rubber discs for grabbing the needles.
Rubber disc for grabbing the needles.
Yeah, give you a little better grip on it when you're pulling it through those little awl slits.
Yeah.
Just makes life easier.
Is really that handy?
They are, yeah.
You guys haven't tried them yet, they are pretty handy. We sell those on their own as well.
Yep. And then we've swapped out for a different groover from the old version. This one gives you a couple different options. The old one did not. So right now it just has a marking blade in it. So if you're working with oil tans, something like that, this will serve you a lot better than the cutting blade, which is also in here, which is your more traditional groover attachment. Still adjustable, real easy.
I don't know if you want to set it down on the table or not.
Yeah, where's a good spot for you?
Oh, that'll work.
There we go.
Can do some overhead, or oh, I see. Line it up right there.
Yep. Right in front of your water.
Whoa.
There we go, yeah.
It's really bright though. There we go.
There we go. So yeah, we can see there it's just got a little flat marking blade, as opposed to the other version it comes with is sealed up, but it actually cuts a groove in the leather. So this will serve you better with your oil tans. Works just fine with veg as well.
And so what are some typical reasons you'd want to cut a stitching groove or make a crease?
Yeah, so if you're wanting to cut a stitching groove, that is, this thing will mark your distance from the edge of your workpiece to your stitch line. You set that distance there, keeps it consistent all the way around the piece. Cutting the groove allows you to have a little bit of a trench for your stitching to lay down in, get you a flusher surface finish. And just marking a crease lets your stitching sit up top still. But you still have that line to follow when you're running your overstitcher over it, punching your holes with your awl.
Flusher surface.
Yep. Got our overstitcher, whole bunch of options on wheel size. That includes our 7-wheel kit.
Yep.
This guy marks your spacing. We'll show how to use that in a bit here.
So beforehand, we had a hand stitching kit that offered. We had, I think, 3 or 4 different kits that offered. You could get three of these wheels, 4 of these wheels, 5 of these wheels. I don't know.
7 of them, yeah.
And so we just kind of consolidated it, and we kind of knocked the price down a little bit to where you can get all 7 wheels. That way, you can do whatever stitch length you need.
Yep. And then you've got your awl for punching your holes in your leather after you've marked them with your overstitcher. Just a small pointed blade.
A small awl.
Yep, really simple little tool.
So what's important about these awls?
They're a flat blade, so you're not going to get just a sharp hole through your leather. It's going to punch a slit. Okay. So as you're doing your saddle stitch, it'll lay nice and pretty like you want it to.
Nice and straight, where you can punch it at an angle and kind of have your stitch going at an angle. Not a weird angle.
At a weird angle.
But an angle.
And they've got all these will have the lacing and hand stitching guide in it as well. To help you get started using all these tools.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that lacing and stitching guide is also available on a different format. Is that right?
It is digitally. It is available.
It is digitally available.
We have made some upgrades to our education tab on our website. So all the buttons at the top of it, you can click on them. The last one's education. So it does have a drop-down menu with some other stuff on there. But if you click on education or educational resources, it'll take you a page that you got the leather machine guide, the hand stitching guide, a leather guide, stamping and tooling guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so dang proud of you.
Yeah, I was just looking at him yesterday for the lacing guide to refresh myself on it, and it's great. It works just like our digital catalog there. Flip through, read the pages, zoom in, whatever you need to do. It's pretty fantastic.
Can you print it off from there?
Can you print it off from there?
Yeah, can you print it from there? Is there
Can
a
you?
printable version available?
Thank you for asking that question.
Just trying to throw out last-minute ideas while we're on camera.
Yeah, right now I'm going to find that out. In just a little bit, I'm going to follow through.
You can always just screen grab whatever page you want.
This is the entertainment value I bring.
And then print it.
Yeah, you bring some sort of value.
Put people on the spot.
Yep.
I'm feeling empowered today since I'm not actually the one crafting.
Yeah,
Right,
You're
yeah.
loud talking and...
Confident.
So let's see, what do you think? Do you want to run through the other kits or start using the all kit?
All right, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these other kits so that we can just get it out of the way.
So we'll go through the punch stitching kit. It's a little more of a modern kit. If you're new to leatherwork, you've probably been on YouTube looking at tutorials on how to do leatherwork. These are a lot of the tools you're going to see. So instead of your single bladed awl, you've got these rakes of round hole punches. Whoops, wrong way. It's that camera. They just punch a round hole in your leather. It's real simple to use. It'll end up looking something like that when you punch your holes. I love these things. They're what I started out with.
And what size hole does it punch?
Oof. The size hole, I can't remember off the top of my head, but the spacing on this set is 4mm that comes with the kit. The hole is
probably,
quite small.
Pretty small, not quite a 32nd, a little less than a 16th, maybe a 3.
Just visualize that. Not quite a 32nd.
Maybe a
less than
3/64.
There we go. That sounds about right.
But these do come in different spacings, correct?
Yeah,
So if you want to expand outside of the kit, you can order some different hole spacings.
Then we've got 4mm, 5mm, and 6mm spacing.
And so in the kit, we included the 4.
Yep, I really like the 4. It's, doing something like a journal cover like we've got today. Won't take you forever to do it. Doing a wallet, it'll look nice and sharp. It's a little tight spacing for a bag. It'll take you a while, but I've stitched some pretty dang big bags using this spacing.
Pretty dang big bags.
Pretty dang big. This kit, big difference is it comes with a little 4x4 of poly for punching. You don't want to use these punches on your table. You don't want to use them on your rubber mat. They're a sharp tool. They're a cutting tool, so you want to use them into your poly to help preserve that.
Hey, Clayton.
Did somebody...
I researched on our website, and I have found out that you can print them and download them.
There you go.
Printable and downloadable.
Then the rest of this kit is going to be the same as your overstitcher kit. It's got thread, needles, discs, and the same groover.
Nice.
The only difference is the poly and the punches. And again, you'll need a mallet for this one. You do not need a mallet for your overstitcher kit. I forgot to clarify that. That one's all hand tools.
All hand tools, no mallet. You're just pushing that all through the leather. So it's really important to keep that all sharp.
Yes.
Also, all of these kits are available on the new items on the website.
Yes.
A big shout out goes to Chad.
All right.
Yeah, Chad, thank
Here it is
you.
again from Tony on the tubes.
Old Tube Tony. All right, then the last one I put together is a lacing kit. Comes with a big spool lace. Plenty to get started. You can do a lot of projects. That's 50 yards.
If you're going to be double loop lacing, it takes a fair bit.
Yep.
What's the rule of thumb for double looping?
9 times?
Yeah, it's either 7 or 9 times, I think.
Something like that. It's a lot. Comes with a handy little set of lacing punches. It's got the interchangeable heads here. So this is a 3/32 lace is what it is ready for. That is the size slit it's going to cut. The spacing is the same on all these heads, but you just get different numbers of them because as you get close to corners, you don't want to use this guy right up against a corner. It gets a little fiddly, or if you get a curve. And it goes all the way down to a single prong.
Nice. I like that it does
Nice
include
clutch.
a single prong. I've seen
huge.
some sets like
Yep.
this that don't include a single prong, but it is really nice if you want to have a nice finished look and have your chisels angled, like if you have some radius corners to go around.
Yep.
Very
Yeah, the round hole kit, the round hole punches do not come with a single prong, but they're round holes. You
Right,
can get away
you
with
can-
2 on anything. If it's too tight of a corner to work a 2-hole punch in there, just redesign it slightly.
You probably get a set of single punches as well, you know.
Right. Then rubber discs on this one as well. And this comes with 2-prong lacing needles, a little 10-pack of them, because these things are finicky to use. I know I've split them apart before trying to spread them too far, because you spread it out and put the lace in between those tabs there. But it's just a little flat needle, not sharp or anything. Great tool though, really handy.
One handy thing I've done with those in the past is the surface finish on these. It seems pretty smooth. It's not perfect though, but actually to make it easier to pull through the hole, I've buffed those on
I've not tried that. Yeah,
on our buffing wheel with a little bit of jeweler's rouge.
yeah, that's smart. Polyboard on this one as well, because you're using punching tools. Lacing stitching guide, and again, you'll need a mallet. Those mallets are cheap. We offer them a couple different weights.
You don't have to get cheap. You can get a Berry King if you want.
You
don't
also
have
get
to
Berry
be
King, yeah.
They don't have
You
you don't
can
have
get
to
whatever
go
you
cheap,
want.
guys. You know,
They're
my
also
great
not cheap,
grandpa.
they're just cost effective.
Right.
Right, that's true. I mean, cheap is it's an easy way to start out, and it's a great starting place. I still use my first mallet I bought. I'm happy with it, but I probably will be upgrading before too long.
You know what we should do, Clayton? We should do a video on making a mallet.
Sounds like a job for Anderson.
Now just throwing out last minute ideas here.
So what video were we supposed to do today, Clayton?
We'll think about making a mallet.
What video were we supposed to do today? And then it got changed yesterday?
Don't remember.
Don't recall.
Carry on.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the new kits we've got. Couple new shapes we've got that we'll be showing off too is our small knife pouch.
This is actually going to come to you guys in a kit.
Yes.
Considered a kit because we will have the line 20 nickel plate snap already attached to the parts, as you see here. Doesn't
belt
come tooled, just
Yep.
comes natural veg, not finished, and the belt loop is separate as well. So it's a little
Yep.
3-piece kit that you guys can purchase, just like our large knife pouch.
I just went ahead and quickly stamped it yesterday because it just looked naked without doing it before the video.
And this is already pre-punched, so it'll come to you pre-punched with the sewing holes or lacing holes already in it.
And I tested out; it'll fit the 3/32 lace real easy. I went ahead and pre-stitched on the belt loop just to get that out of the way.
Didn't want to bore you guys with that, I guess.
Oh, we'll be doing plenty of hand stitching.
Plenty of hand stitching.
We've got our field note journal cover shape. It is one piece. Comes with a pen loop on this one. So it just folds over, tuck in the sides of your field note journal. It's got a couple little slots here for little business cards, note cards, what have you.
There's the overhead.
There's the overhead.
A little slow on the draw there, Tony. That's okay.
And then over
Take
here,
care of the chat.
over here, a little pen loop. Just handy little feature we've added to that one. I think we've made these in-house before, but this is the first time we're selling them as a shape. You can sew it up
As
yourself.
a shape, we've actually had these dies for a year or two,
Yep.
and we've sold some finished ones, but now we're going to offer it to you guys as a shape. They're super simple, great beginner project, field note, passport cover,
Yeah,
folded
that's the
construction,
passport there.
all one piece, couple card pockets. They're going to be huge.
Yeah, so that's what we're working with today. You'll notice some of the tools I'm using are a little different than what's in the kit, just because it's what I had near my work area that I'm used to using. But it's all the same concept.
All the same concept.
Yeah,
We'll see.
the groover is exactly the same. So
Well, that's
got that going. But yeah, so I guess we'll get started. You want to start with lacing or hand stitching?
Let's go. We already got this pre-punched. You got this on, so let's
Yep.
go ahead and start with some lacing. See
Yeah.
if you remember how to double loop lace.
Ooh, yeah. So double loop lacing is a little trickier than hand stitching, I think. Probably just because I haven't done as much. But again, like we said, you need a good length of lace. We're only doing 8 inches of stitch line here, but I've got...
Say like 9.5.
Well, sure. Get down those 30 seconds, we'll figure it out. But I've got more than enough lace here because it's a lot easier to trim off than start over.
Oh, hold on. I see
No, what
something
you got
coming
there?
in from the peripheral.
It's Chevy.
What? I ain't got nothing up here. Am I supposed to be reading something?
Nope.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
How about that, guys?
So with the double loop lacing, the first tip I'll give you is you're not going to want to start with your whole length. because that'll stretch your lace as you go, because you've got to pull whatever length you work with through the hole every time. So I start with just a good 1.5 to 2 feet, and then you can splice it in. That part's not too tough. So I'm going to cut myself off a length here. First thing you're going to do when you start with your lace is you need to thin out the ends here, kind of skive it down a little bit for those needles. So I just use standard little box knife that I use all day. X-Acto knife works great, whatever you've got on hand, just something sharp. I just lay it more or less flat, put a little pressure on it. Get this out of my way. Start near the end and just pull that lace through, and it just splits it down thinner. And that gives you a nice little taper to it. Can't really see it, it's very small.
Hang on, I'm trying to get this camera.
Oh.
I can't find. There we go.
No,
I
I'm
need
just
a
aiming
digital
over here.
zoom.
Digital zoom.
A digital zoom.
Trying to find
You
the
got
pixels.
an analog zoom?
It's already maxed out on its analog zoom.
Manual.
Alright, so down here you can see it's tapered at the end there. You can just barely see it. But that just makes it go into the needle easier. You're going to want to condition your lace. Even fresh off the spool, this stuff could use just a little bit of Bic. Something we also carry.
Bic 4 by Bicmore.
This is my personal favorite conditioner for this type of work.
Item number 21-65. No.
6-0.
6-0?
Yep.
6-0.
Here, we keep shaking
21-60.
I like this stuff. It's easy to use.
Just gonna use your fingers, huh?
Yeah. Works just fine. It soaks into your skin too when you're done because same stuff.
It's also conditioning leather.
Yep.
Your hands are leather.
Leaves your hands nice and soft, you know. Alright, so you just rub a little bit of that in your lace and that'll help keep it from breaking, tearing, what have you. Just saves you a lot of hassle. So now let me see if I can figure out how to angle this where it's visible.
See, now your hands are all slick and
Yeah,
conditioned.
now that my hands are all conditioned. Try and fiddle with this needle.
See how you do this.
Let's see.
I got my own
Can you do that
methods.
overhead by chance?
Well, I need to zoom it in a little bit.
Wait for no man.
Yep. Nah, I'm just gonna go for it.
Hold on.
Oh, hold on.
If you sit still
Okay.
and wait patiently, then I will zoom camera
The
in.
man's got to bait his hook, okay?
Okay, I have no idea how far I zoomed it in, but I zoomed it in some.
Some.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I can work with that. Alright. So you just get a grip on your needle, split it apart, and on one side here, it's got these little teeth you can see there that stick out. You want to put the grain side of your lace towards those teeth. That is the slicked, finished side. Those teeth will bite better into the grain. Clayton, you look like you disagree.
No, go ahead.
Those teeth will bite into the grain and hold it. As with any sort of leather, the grain side is where your strength mostly is. So I just fish it in there. I'm going to cheat and use some little pliers. And just mash it down. You'll feel those teeth catch.
Cheater.
And now you're set. Whoop.
Whoa!
That's what I get for cheating.
I would say, usually I'll skive the end of the lace down like that, but then I'll stick, I guess I've done the flesh side towards the prongs most of the time.
This is how Jeff taught me.
Okay, well,
Can't argue with
I'm not
Jeff.
going to argue with old Hefe. El Jefe,
There we
as
go.
we know him.
Alright, now it's mashed in there, holding it tight. So to start your double loop lacing, you start with the flesh side of your lace up, and you're going to keep the flesh side up the entire process. That'll end up with having the grain side of your lace out at the end. So you're starting your first hole here.
And so you match up.
Yep, match up your
First
holes.
hole. Okay,
Yep.
good.
This kit here, you'll see it doesn't line up on the other side. It's because when you get done, it has a little bow to it, a little pocket for a small knife.
Little pucker.
A little old-timer style knife or something like that.
Wet mold it afterwards or something.
Yep.
Now, do we have a knife or something to stick in here once we're done?
I didn't think that far ahead.
Wow.
My first video and I've already let you down.
We'll find some. I bet Anderson's got a knife, a little pocket knife. We'll be able to.
I bet
mold in
Anderson
there.
does.
I bet he does.
Bet he does.
Anderson's always good for a knife.
Alright. So this is one of the tricks with double loop lacing is when you start it, you don't tie a knot or anything in your back end. You just fold it kind of downstream for your stitch line and just hold it there. Looks like we got a question here.
Mr. Donuts, quick question. What weight leather do you recommend to make a phone case? I'm new to this amazing craft. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Now, I love the questions of what weight leather to use because there's a lot that goes into the answer a lot of times. So people ask this about bags. They ask it about anything from saddles, holsters, shoes, and it depends on the construction style you're going with a lot of times. So depending on the style of phone case you're making can determine what weight of leather you use or what kind of leather you use and the temper it has, right?
Right.
So if you're making a simple 2-piece phone sleeve, say, and you want to use vegetable tan leather, what weight are we looking at?
Depends if you want to wet mold it.
Right.
If you don't want to wet mold it, I'd go 4 or 5.
Sure.
If you want to wet mold it, 6, 7.
You can go a little bit heavier if you're gonna wet mold veg tan, and it gives you a little bit firmer body.
Yep.
Now, if you're doing like a small, like gusseted case or something like that, you're probably gonna want to use some 2 to 3 ounce on the gusset, and maybe a 4 or 5 ounce. Hey,
Thanks, Andy.
hey, Rose.
Hey, Rose.
We got
she
a
got
doggy walk on here.
Yep. Selection
Rose.
of knives here.
Nice. I got something to play with.
There you go.
Flesh side
low
is
fear.
the finish side.
No, the flesh side will be your fuzzy side.
Yeah.
The grain here, this is your top grain, tooling grain. You'll hear it called a lot of different ways.
Hair side, skin side,
Yep.
outside of the cow.
Your flesh side is the little fuzzy bit. It's what's split off. It's the back of the leather.
What the guts are up against.
Yep.
What the guts are?
Yeah, I wish there was some handy thing I used to remember this, but I just had to figure it out. And
Flesh side, fuzzy side.
yep, grain side is your nice finish. So if you see top grain leather, that's going to have your grain
Your top
finished.
grain. Yep.
Splits, suedes, those are not top grain leather. So you won't see that finished side.
Correct.
All right. So we got our tail here from where we started out. You're going to fold that over downstream a little bit. Bring your needle back over. Make sure you follow your lace out. Keep it flush side up. And go through your next hole. All the way through. Then pull it down snug.
You need a rubber disc there, partner?
No, I should be using the fib, but I'll make it through just fine.
Using the fid?
Fid. Oh, yeah. Fid. It's a little pokey tool used in lacing a lot. Just
Yep.
kind of
Throwing something else into
stretch
the
out the hole. Optional tool, not necessary to start.
Okay. You can also use just anything that's pokey.
Yeah, you use anything pokey,
Stretch
really.
it out.
Silver pen, pointy pliers, whatever you got.
Use your imagination.
So now you've got a little X there where these two cross over. You're going to bring your lace, same thing. Make sure you got your grain side up, or flesh side up, sorry. You're going to come back through and come under where they cross. That's called your bite. You're going to come in under your bite. That's just a matter of wiggling.
We have a whole video on double loop lacing too. Kevin gets mad
great.
when
Well-
anybody else does double loop lacing. Kevin gets mad because he can do it while he drives.
That's
Why
I'm
why
not
does
the
that
best
make him
at
angry?
this, but
I don't know because
It's,
he should be the only one.
This is too easy.
SLC people.
All right, well, he's going to get this started here.
well, Kevin's better at double loop lacing. Yep.
Finish your first stitch, and I'll take over.
Go through your bite,
Do you know what Kevin's going to say
go
though?
back through. I did something wrong.
One of the things that you have done wrong.
Yep.
Do you know what it is, Clayton?
I
don't know.
I don't remember.
Let's see. I'll let you know when it happens.
Do we have to talk about it?
Yeah.
Well, it's great that you'll let us know when it happens because I'm going to hand that off to Clayton because that's
Ta-da.
a stitch. You keep doing that until you get to a splice.
Exactly. So I'll let you guys know once we get to a splice here. So big thing, don't ever. One thing you didn't mention, don't ever let go of this needle.
See, I fear if you do that,
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Don't
So-
ever let go of your needle.
if you do let it go, you can just trace it down nice and easy.
You can.
I usually don't let go of it, but yeah, I'm trying to demonstrate here for the good people.
You gotta save,
That's not very lean though. To let go of it. 'cause
save
now
2
you're-
seconds.
true.
Yeah.
So
trying to talk and point while
you
I
got
do it,
other
too.
fingers that you can use to pull the lace through, right? So
Sure.
hang on to it.
Yep.
Use your other fingers to pull it through.
Just make sure you keep track of it. All right, so there's that. We're going to go ahead and jump over to the hole punch stitching kit. I'm going to show that off on this.
Before we go any further, so on this punching kit
Yes.
that we just kind of demonstrated, so yeah, pull that back over here real quick. So this is the one that comes with the punches. Normally you go through and punch these holes with the punches provided in the kit using your poly board and mallet,
Yep.
and then you go through and start your lacing like we've shown here. You can use
Well,
the stitching
for the
group.
lacing. There's the lacing kit.
The lacing kit.
It's got slots rather than holes, so it's a little friendlier to lacing.
A little friendlier, absolutely. You use your chisels to go through it and punch your chisel slots and then start lacing. So item number on that, the lacing kit, 144-5738.
Yep.
144-5738 should be available under the new items tab on our website. If you know somebody that's looking to get into leather crafts, this is a great gift for them.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
Yeah, because then you can get them, a scrap bag and a hand stitching kit, and they can go to town, man. Maybe buy a pattern for them as well.
Yeah, these are a great way to get started. When Clayton had me start looking at kind of revamping and looking over our hand stitching kits, I basically just went through, all right, the first time I bought stuff here, what'd I buy? Put that stuff all in a bag together. Great way to get started. So now we're going to go on to the hand stitching punch kit. And this one, I'll get ahead of it this time. The punch stitching kit, 144-5748. Again, on the new items. Great gift. This is what I started with, is this exact style of stitching.
When did you start leathercraft, Ryan?
I had done a little bit probably 10 years ago, but when I started working here a little over a year ago, I just got back into it because you're around it all day. I knew a bunch of folks here previous to starting here that were already doing leather work, like Andrew. So just get around it all day and it's infectious. I got back into it and really took off.
Wow.
Wow.
No, must not be kangaroo.
What?
Hey, it's good lace.
Yeah, it's fine lace. I just pulled it too hard. I really shouldn't be tensioning it with the full length. I should probably choke up on it and tension it.
Oh, drop it.
You.
It's all right.
Hey, Clayton, you've made it to a splice.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just putting my needle back on here.
Change your new pliers.
Thank you.
Yep.
And a razor blade.
Oh, yeah.
We got razor blades in chat.
Embarrassing.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run through the
Hold on.
punching. Oh,
I was
let him do
watching
that?
Clayton's mistake.
Oh, well.
Stop it.
It's everyone's favorite part.
Yeah.
You know what it was? These prongs need to go on the flesh side. Probably.
Well, that's what everybody was saying, and I know that Kevin says that as well on the flesh side.
I mean, if you can get them to penetrate the grain, then absolutely it's going to hold better. But my problem is usually I have trouble getting the little prongs in here to penetrate the grain and hold on there.
Well, I mean, it tore well away from the needle.
I think
The needle didn't tear out of the lace.
Either way will obviously work.
I'm not looking at our... oh, yep. Instructions say flesh side. That's on me.
Somebody needs to talk to Hefty.
Yeah, a pack of lacing needles as well.
Yeah, I got another one here. There's a
Yeah.
pack in here.
I cheat whenever I put this back on. I take another lacing needle and I actually put it in there to hold it open.
Yep.
So I'm not coordinated enough.
That is a lot easier. I did not think of that. Good tip.
It's a good tip there, right?
Hey, that's a tip you got there, Clayton.
Let me taper that end. All right, Ryan's the big show here, okay? Back to Ryan.
All right, so we'll get started with the punch stitching kit. Like I said, this is how I got started. Like Clayton said with the lacing needles, I actually usually buff the prongs on my punches as well. Just makes them pull out of the leather a little bit easier. It doesn't really sharpen them so much, it just polishes them. They're a little slicker, a little smoother to use. But before you start punching, you're going to set your edge groover to whatever stitch distance you want, or stitch gap from the edge of your project. As you eyeball it, I say it's probably a little over an eighth.
Yeah, what's a good general seam allowance?
Between quarter and eighth, you're plenty safe. Quarter inch.
3/16.
3/16. There we go. I usually give a range because if I'm doing something like this, I'm going to go closer to an eighth. If I'm doing a bag or something with a turned seam or something's going to have a little more force on it, I'll go closer to a quarter. Just
Quarter
to give a
to
little
an
more
eighth?
meat to that seam. Yep.
Quarter to an eighth, plenty safe.
There it is. That's what I always say. Then the way you'll use this tool is I'm just using the marking blade rather than the groover, just because it makes stitching a little more visible on the camera. You just let this big arm that sticks out right along the edge of your project and put a little pressure on that blade, and it just makes yourself a nice groove to follow. Ooh, that polyboard has got quite the surface on it. Going for a ride. And then I'm stopping about here because I know I'm going to have a stitch line that runs right down the side of this for the pen loop. I'll do the same on the other side. What you thinking, Tony?
I'm thinking that Clayton
Hush.
is a He-Man.
Did you break another one?
Too much caffeine.
So I'm marking both sides of this thing, because with the construction of it, I don't really need to mark these wings for my stitching, because they're going to be folded over. I like to punch it all at the same time, that way I know my holes line up. And I didn't mark into the pen loop here, because that's not getting stitched. Got to keep it open. So the first thing I'll do, should have brought basting tape.
It's behind you.
Behind me?
And a hook down low.
Awesome.
Baste away.
Alright. So I'm going to throw a little bit of basting tape on this to hold it together while I punch my holes. A lot of times, Clayton prefers glue.
I do prefer glue. Why do I prefer glue, Ryan?
It's a strong, strong bond.
A strong bond.
For punching holes, basting tape is plenty good. Glue works too, just a little overkill for my purposes.
It's not the only reason I like glue versus basting tape.
What would that be, Clayton?
So, anytime you're doing a project where you're looking at sanding the edges to flush them up, or you're going to be finishing or burnishing the edges, basting tape can actually stay in that edge and kind of give you a funky...
Gums up the works.
Gums up the works a little bit when you go to sand the edge and burnish it. Adhesive will do a better job at getting out of the way and making a cleaner edge.
It's a fine point.
If you're double loop, sticking them down and you're going to double loop lace and you don't have to worry about finishing edges, fine.
Yep.
Tape away.
With this, I usually use a thinner basting tape and put it just back in from my edge, more in line with where I'm stitching. That way, as I'm going to do my sanding and finish work, I've got a little bit of leather there that I can still sand and work with before I hit that basting tape. But yeah, with glue, you don't have to plan for that contingency.
Right, right.
With the cement.
Yeah. And you just going to, using cement, it can be easier to be overzealous and glue too far in.
Yep.
So just be cautious of that.
You don't have to wait for basting tape to dry.
I'm at a splice moment here.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll jump over to you. I'll just get this taped up.
Jump on over.
I'm a knife. You got it.
Oh, look at that.
Get your own camera.
All right, so see what we're doing here? I'm at a splice moment. I'm out of lace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to my next hole. I've just gone through my bite. I'm ready to go to the next hole. And instead of going through both my front and back piece, we're actually going to go up through the layers. So we're going to split the leather and we're going to go between the layers with my needle. Right? So we're going to pull that up tight. And I'm going to trim that lace off with just a little bit sticking out over the edge. And we're going to tuck that down inside there. Now, there's usually enough tension on this that should hold just fine. And then whenever we pick back up, I'll go ahead and show you. Once I get new lace on here, we're just going to start back and we're going to go back through the back layer, through that hole, and we're going to pull it down and trim it just like we did that last piece and tuck it down in there, and it's going to look like one continuous piece. So let me get a new piece of lace on here.
Yeah, I think when I first learned lacing, that was one of the things that took me the longest to understand. Because I'm so used to hand stitching, everything's knotted,
Conditioner, would you?
knotted, intersected, tied together, what have you. There's no just parts pressure fitted. So I just didn't trust it, but it's sturdy. The splices work great. Alright, yeah, I'm not doing anything interesting here, just lining up my edges nice and straight.
Oh, it's super interesting, Ryan.
Oh, thanks, Clayton. Appreciate it, buddy.
Ryan, is this your first video with us?
This is my first video. I've not been in your department for too terrible long. What, month and a half, 2 months now?
I don't pay attention.
To me.
No, yeah, it's been about a month and a half, I'd say.
Yeah, I started off in our e-commerce department, working over there, and it was just a blast. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the company, and then the more I saw the videos, the more I saw things happen in R&D, the more I wanted to be involved. I kicked and begged until I got my way.
Absolutely. Finally, you started coming over and talking to me about it, and I was like, you know what? You got a dog? I was like, yeah, I got a dog. You're in.
You like fishing?
Yeah, you like to go fishing? No, so glad to have you.
Aww.
Yeah.
All right. Once you get your sides taped down there, now you're ready to start punching. With these punches, they're plenty long enough that a project like this, you're not going to have any trouble punching all the way through it in one go. If you're working thicker leather, something that's going to be, thick veg tan, wet molded, something like that, you're going to want to punch each layer one at a time. There you get into some tricks you'll learn over time of how to line up your punches so you know that all your holes are going to be in the same spot when you get to assembly. But just starting out, a little project like this is perfect. You don't have to sweat that. So I'm actually going to start here on my line. I'm going to start right on the end, and I'm going to use my same stitch distance and mark it from my outside edge, just so I know that I'm starting at the same spot. It's going to have a nice symmetrical look to it. If your distance from your outside edge to your top edge is all the same. Since we have curved corners, I'm going to go just one punch down. And you just line these holes up, just line your tongs right on that line you've marked in, and give it a little whack. See those punches? Just, ooh, where are we at? There we go. Clean right through the back. Nice and easy. Now exactly on my line there. Then, now we're on a straight spot, so I'm going to jump over to our 6-hole. The way I use these is always make sure to line up at least one prong in the previous hole I punched. Then follow my line, get a steady grip. I always hold it down low. If I hold it up here, I'm likely to tip. And you don't want that, especially if you're working thicker leather. Your holes will come out at an angle.
Yep.
I hold it down low, kind of brace my fingers against the leather, keep it all nice and straight. Light tap. Doesn't take much. That one didn't. There it went. Takes a little more than that, apparently.
So, is there anything that would make that easier?
Granite?
Yeah.
Under your polyboard?
A little solid surface going under there.
Granite doesn't come in the kits either. Another great tool that we sell, and
So you can use granite, or if you got a steel slab of steel surface or something. Yep. People have done it on the garage floor before.
Yeah. When I got started, I resisted for a long time. I was like, I don't need a slab of granite. I'm not doing tooling. You know, what's that going to bring to it? Man,
One behind you.
makes a difference, is there?
Yeah, on the floor.
Yeah, there's
Also one hang right here.
Oh, hey, look at that. Thanks, sir. That will help. Yeah, I resisted for a long time. Thought I didn't need it. Figured out that was wrong. They help immensely.
I wonder how many people out there that are watching do most of their projects by hand stitching. I know a lot of our regular audience are pretty experienced crafters, right? So some of them have sewing machines for sure.
Right. I do 99% of my work hand stitching. On these,
Glutton for punishment.
I enjoy it. Just put something on, watch a movie, what have you. Now that I'm in a long straight stretch using my 6-hole punch, I'll line up 2 teeth in my previous holes. It's a little less efficient. I'm only getting 4 punches per swing, but it's easier to keep in line that way. But you just keep punching and following your line. For sake of demonstration, I'm probably just going to do one of these. One of these lines. With this particular journal cover passport kit, I like stitching all the way across so that you stitch in this gap here. It just gives it a nice clean finished look when you're all done, when there's that stitch line all the way around the project on the outside. Just looks sharp.
Sharp.
Sharp. How's the lacing going, Clayton?
It's pretty good. I'm about halfway through.
There you go. Speeding along.
Oh, man. Fingers are burning.
Molly Armstrong says she has 5 sewing machines.
Good night.
Rose, you're back.
Rose.
5 sewing machines?
5, yeah.
That's a lot of sewing machines.
It's a collector right there.
Rookie numbers. You know the sacrificial piece?
It's punching plenty clean.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Andy.
And he comes in and offers a sacrificial piece of leather. Very kind.
He just wanted to bring his dog in again to distract me.
We were saying, or the chat was also talking about, they've had luck going to a local granite store and getting sink cutouts.
Yep,
Oh, absolutely.
definitely.
If you got somewhere local that offers granite countertops,
Go for it.
yeah, check that out. It's going to save you a lot in shipping.
Oh,
Shipping these things is not cheap. They're pretty heavy.
Yep.
Rose, come on.
Let's see, I'll just, I'll probably just demonstrate the one line here instead of the whole cover. Since we got another one to do yet. Yeah?
Or you can just finish one and, the other one's the same principle, right?
Yeah, just alls instead. Yeah, so for this, I'm going to go ahead and mark myself another line.
Well, I guess it is alls, yeah. If you want to do the all
yeah,
one.
go to that.
You're right. You were right the first time.
Good deal.
Still learning to trust this guy.
Alright, so let's do a little demonstration. If I was doing this to finish it, I'd bring it all the way around here, all the way down my pen loop, all the way back on the other side. One solid stitch line. Looks great. You're working with a lot of thread because it's a little trickier to splice your wax thread, but
If you really want to minimize your stitching on this shape, you could just do this panel, that panel,
Yep.
couple stitches in the middle, same thing on the bottom.
yep. I just, as Clayton said, glutton for punishment.
He's yeah,
I enjoy hand
he's
stitching.
got more
It's
energy than I do. He's
satisfying.
He's a much younger man.
much younger man. Different generations, really.
Next, absolutely.
Soon when I started over in R&D, me and Clayton found out he is 1 day older than me.
Exactly 1 day.
1 day.
You'll always hold it over your head, too.
Yep.
I'm older than you, I'm older than you.
So trick with this is when you're doing your saddle stitching, hand stitching, 4 times your stitch length. It's a good rule of thumb. Thicker leather, thicker projects, 5 times. Something like this, 4 is going to do plenty good. I always overshoot. Thread's not terribly expensive, and it's a lot faster than starting over to just trim off the excess. You'll be out, maybe 10 cents in thread. So measure off my thread here.
Thread.
I'm just using some of our rhino thread.
Rhino thread.
Rhino thread that we also sell here. This is the 0.8 millimeter.
Wow.
I love this stuff. Oh, actually, I was going to use that for the all kit. Sorry, using the 1.0 millimeter rhino thread.
Ooh, okay.
There we go. Mix it up on you.
Big difference.
A little thicker. I like the way it lays in the hole punches. Fills out the holes pretty well.
So on these, this passport and field note journal shapes, what do you do first before you get to this point? What did we not do
What do we not do?
that other people may want to do first before doing this?
I'm stumped. I don't know.
Gosh.
I rarely work with veg.
Tool, die, and finish.
Oh, yeah.
guys.
Yeah, tool, die, and finish.
Die, and
Yep.
finish your veg stand projects before you start stitching it together.
Yep.
This is step number 1.
See, I forgot that. I do a lot of oil tan work.
I was really struggling to come up with a question that you wouldn't get. But
There
I
you
did
go. Nailed it. Can't have me looking like I know what I'm doing.
So
on my
we were
first
just
video.
selling these as shapes. So these aren't really going to come with instructions or anything. This is
Yep.
kind of your instructional video right here. They're super self-explanatory. They just kind of fold up and go together.
As soon as you get them in hand, they're really intuitive.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying them. I might have to pick up a couple myself and try to learn how to tool, I
I'm glad you're
suppose.
enjoying them.
All right, thread your needles. Thread it through the eye of the needle. It's a flat thread, so you'll bring it back around, pull your tail out, and let's see here. Poke your needle
It's a flat thread,
through that thread. It is a flat thread.
like floss.
It's a flat woven thread. Yeah, all the rhino thread is nice and flat. Poke your needle back through the thread, and then you don't have to worry about your needle coming off or it unraveling itself. Nice and secure. For a saddle stitch, I'm sure we've shown on here before. 2 needles, 2 hands. Go for it. Alright. Where you at over there, Clayton?
I want to get a little more lace.
One more lace, so I did not leave you enough. Sorry about
Did I
that.
come off this spool?
Nope. Came off a different spool. Came off the one over by the
Yeah.
sewing department's table there that they've got on their roll. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, this will just go back to the sewing department, and I can just swap out for one of their rolls. They got a ton of this stuff over there.
There you go. Alright, so I got my needles on here threaded. Another thing I like to do is I'll start one hole down, and I'll backstitch at the beginning of my project. Not always necessary, but it gets you, again, that nice even look. I figure a lot of people will tell me when I'm doing hand stitching or working on leather work, oh, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's handmade.
Can you show us what you...
Oh, sorry. So I will start, I'm starting one hole in, because on the far end of my stitch line, you're going to backstitch once to lock that thread in. So I start one hole forward, and then go backwards one.
Because you don't have to backstitch whenever you're starting a saddle stitch, because it's all one piece, right?
Right.
But this is going to keep it symmetrical.
Looks nice. Like I said,
Symmetry is king.
people say it doesn't have to be perfect, but it can. So I like to try.
I always say if you make a mistake and you do the same thing on the other side, make
Yep.
the same mistake, it's no longer a mistake.
It's a design feature.
Make it symmetrical.
Yep. So I stitched backwards one and then right back in the hole where I started. The big thing with saddle stitching is to remember whatever direction you started with. So if I'm putting my left needle through first, then my right hand needle, always do that. Never change it. If you're having trouble with your saddle stitching looking a little wiggly or things will kind of jump up and down past each other, that's probably the case. With these round holes, you don't have to worry so much about pulling up versus pulling down with your sides because it all lays in a pretty straight line. But you still want to make sure, for me, I just always start with my left hand. That's just habit at this point. Bring my right hand thread over top of it. Pull it snug. These holes give you plenty of room to pull one side all the way through before you bring your other side back. With the awl, you'll see that's not quite the case. You've got to do things a little more all at one time.
All at one time. Oh my goodness, Ryan. Oh,
wonderful.
I was waiting for that one.
Yep, it's a matter of time. Yeah, then you just happily stitch along. I'm trying to figure out if I'm supposed to be saying anything. We got any other questions? I mean, I've got not a lot to say at this point about the...
No, we can just have a moment of silence.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Unless that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want everyone to hear you breathe?
Shh.
Holly.
How does rhino thread compare to Ritz? That seems to be the question we always get with it.
Yeah, Ritza is going to be... I feel like it's slightly more round in its weave. It's still a pretty flat thread, but it's a little more round.
Less wax content.
Less wax content. It's a little slicker. You'll notice it pulls through the holes easier. But I personally really enjoy the high wax content and flat thread with the rhino. That flat thread, like I said, with a straight stitch like this, it ends up looking great. It just lays flat, nice straight line, flat against your piece. And with that high wax content, I'll take a lighter and just run it along my whole stitch line, just kind of brush it with the flame, and you get a nice polish on your thread. It's fantastic. Ritza
Also,
doesn't allow that as much. Yeah.
Is price of a concern for you?
Big difference there.
I don't know how much better Ritza is at the price
Yeah.
it costs.
I hear people say Ritza's stronger. I've never broken rhino.
I don't know why it would need to be any stronger.
Right.
I can't break the rhino thread just with my hands.
It's a braided wax nylon thread. I'm not going to get too picky at that point. A lot of times, the only reason I'll use Ritza over rhino is Ritza's got a very specific color I wanted for this. Our selection of rhino here rarely doesn't have a color I'm after. We've got a huge wall of it here in-house, so I'm always poking around in.
Well, I got to the end here. Did you have a specific way you wanted to end this?
No, just however you normally end it.
Just do it.
Yep, just end it up. Just make it look nice, Clayton.
Yeah, I'll try this. I'm actually going to go back through that all at once.
I feel like we have a really important question.
Oh, yeah? See, here's a question. Who has a better beard? That's a rough one. I mean, Clayton's beard has a day on mine at least. We know that.
I have had more time to grow it.
I don't know. I believe that is not up to us to judge. We're
I
not
don't know if we can...
impartial.
We could be here all day.
Okay.
How long of a video you guys want?
Go over the finer features of
Have
each.
you ever used saddle soap?
In
on
my
your
beard?
My beard? No, can't say I have.
How about
know if I like the
walrus oil?
smell as much.
Yeah.
Walrus oil?
Yeah,
Walrus.
walrus oil.
Walrus?
You got to really hit that L on
Yeah,
walrus.
you gotta make sure you. I mean, they put all of the syllables in there. You should use them all.
Does anybody use walrus oil on their beard?
I don't know.
He doesn't have a beard, he couldn't tell you.
Like an old Eskimo
Have you
thing?
seen my beard? It's non-existent.
No.
So me and Clayton keep joking that we're just kind of alternate universe versions of the same person. Born a day apart, very similar taste in music.
So we're gonna let everybody judge here.
Get a good
So Clayton,
look at
They're
them.
different styles.
Clayton,
Yeah.
okay, if you can look my way at this camera. Okay, beard number 1,
Need your shot?
beard number 2.
Beard number 2.
Why is that shot so weird?
I agree, it is weird.
All right, number 1 is Clayton. Number 2 is Ryan.
No.
That's right, number 1's Clayton.
Blue and pink. Blue and pink.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Blue beard versus pink beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both have it. You don't have any red in your beard. My beard's red.
Mine's, mostly brown. A little bit of red
You
here
have
and
gray
there.
in your beard?
Yeah, oh yeah.
See, I don't have any gray in my beard. It's all on my head.
See, that one day you've got ahead of me, I lived my day a lot harder, you know.
Sure. Yeah. I've got 4 children.
I've got one dog. I mean, basically the same.
Again, alternate universe. Obviously, some different decisions. Oh. All right. Well, I got this laced up. I'm gonna shove a knife in here. And, oh wow!
You can do. Look at it, right in there.
Oh wow!
Like it was made for it.
That's good.
Andy, good job grabbing the perfect size knife. Look at that.
Ryan's ahead by 1.
Ooh.
Ryan's ahead by 1.
I will say it's a little hard to tell on the camera from what I could see. Clayton's got a tidier beard. That's for sure.
So I keep it tidy.
Yeah,
Clayton is a
makes
young Santa, says Abigail.
A young Santa?
Yep.
Abigail? Who's that?
She also calls you Spicy Clayton.
She does.
That's great.
Abigail also redeemed the Tony tube as well.
Yeah, no, I only put it on there so you can do it a couple times. So, somebody needs to give her points back.
Tony don't want to go down the tubes again?
I know at what point I get to be extremely annoying, and I try not to get to that point.
He said,
Didn't know that you were self-aware. When did that happen?
I've been that way my whole life.
Okay.
The problem of caring has never really come in.
Just because I know what's happening doesn't mean I'm going to do anything about it.
Today, caring has come into fruition.
Yeah,
This is a big old knife for this little pouch. This might be a large knife.
maybe.
Abigail. A-B-I-G-A-I-L. Abigail.
Abby dabby doo. Wind X. Wind_X. Here's a question. Who has it? Oh, it's the same thing.
Good job, Clayton.
Give me a different question.
Okay.
Yeah, cue us up.
Charles said
Stretch
you're
it
sporting
out.
the burl eyes.
The burl eyes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ryan is more of the mountain man.
Yeah.
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 Been told I look like I just
Yours
wandered
nicely
in.
trimmed and kept, Clayton.
Who said that?
Lisa.
You want to write that down?
Yeah.
Hey Lisa, where are you?
Yeah. You want to print that off? And
Keeping you.
Where are you from, Lisa?
people love my beard.
Find my email on the website.
It's the kind of different choices we've made in our lives, you know.
Your wife watching these videos, Clayton?
No, she never watches. My kids might be, though.
Big fans, I hear.
Gordon, you know, we were talking about morel mushrooms. Gordon taught his dog how to find them.
More L's. Gordon,
How do you do
looking
that?
to sell that hound?
Yeah, no kidding.
I've got a 6-month-old puppy that I've been taking with me. He sticks with me
Boris.
really well. Little Boris, but
Yeah.
I always let him smell the mushrooms. You do the same thing with your possum, don't you?
Yep. I always let old Walter get a good snoot full of the mushrooms when I'm out finding them. And
Yeah, Ryan here's got a pretty cool little possum dog hybrid.
he's an odd looking pup. I will not argue with that.
He found it out there while he was living on the mountain.
Not any decent ones. No, he's not very still when I'm out. I just don't take a lot of pictures.
No.
I'll say he's not very still and realize that's a huge lie. He's an extremely still dog. Me and Clayton were out fishing and took Walter with us, and Clayton got to see my dog's beautiful self-preservation instincts of just going limp and staring at me as the current nearly carried him up under a log. So I had to chuck my fly rod up on the bank and go save my dog's life. Put him on this bank, and he stands there looking satisfied and happy and trots off and sits down about 8 inches away from a water moccasin enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah. Doesn't have much will to go on.
He's a lovely dog. Not a lot of street smarts, I would say, on that guy. That's why I don't really bring him to work. It's not an environment I think he would survive in. Love him. Good hiking, buddy.
So what's everybody hand stitching on today?
Yeah, join me in the silent.
So
hand
Michael
stitching.
has a question.
Hey.
If wax is piling up at the hole you have pulled the wax thread through, is there a solution to that? Is your hole too small or too big a thread or
Burn it?
Yeah, if you're not finding your thread breaking because it's losing all its wax, that'll just happen from time to time. If it's really bugging me, really getting in my way, I'll take a horsehair brush over it, like a shoe brush, and just brush my seam real quick, knock all that wax off. Because you can burn it in, but if it's a bunch of wax on like a natural veg, you can see it. It'll discolor your veg there. So it just kind of depends on the severity of the issue, how I handle it.
Why use a wax thread versus like our bonded nylon machine thread?
You don't have a true knot in your hole between your layers when you're saddle stitching like you do with a machine. You've just got loops holding it together. You've essentially got two basic stitches, two running stitches going.
Instead of on a machine where you've got your thread overlapping and pulling on each other and keeping tension.
It's just next to each other.
Right, it's just going past each other.
So that wax in there gives a little bit of grip. It helps bind up that thread in the hole. Also, in the process of stitching, helps provide a little bit of lubrication to the process.
Sure. So it both lubricates and both increases and reduces friction.
Yep. Because when you get wax moving, add friction to it, it'll melt, thread will slide right through. When it's just sitting there tight, that wax gets tacky.
Now, hold on. Nick's got something for us here. What is it, Nick?
What is it?
What did I say?
What you got?
nothing?
I see nothing odd about what Clayton said.
You having trouble eating after that, or what?
Yeah, it's stuff I choked.
So choked up, inspired.
I got
Inspired.
it. I got inspired.
Out of the gutter, Nick.
As you can see, this is very possible to hand stitch without a stitching pony. Sure, it's not as easy to watch because I just realized how much I am just flopping my work back and forth.
That's true. Why aren't you on the pony?
I wanted to show how to hand stitch without the pony, and forgot to mention it until just now, near the end of my stitch, because the kit doesn't come with a stitching pony.
Doesn't come with a stitching pony.
So,
Absolutely add one on. Tony's got that item number ready for us.
right there.
Nope.
Nope.
The big thing you're going to fight when you're stitching without a stitching pony is the leather moving around. Your project doesn't hold still. What I tend to do is I'll just use my fingertips against the leather and keep a little tension on the thread that's not currently moving. Now it's nice and still. Get it through, pull it out. Now I put tension on that thread, move my other one. Everything stays nice and tidy. Doesn't really bother you. I like doing that if I'm sitting on the couch, watching at a friend's house. My friends have gotten used to me bringing work with me places because I hand stitch, I can take it with.
So annoying.
That has nothing to do about what I was just saying. That's just Clayton's general feelings on me.
Let me try.
Get on
I'm gonna try. All right, show us our last kit here. We want to review or present rather.
Yeah, last kit to present here is our all stitching kit. This is a much more traditional saddle making style of kit and tool set. The big difference is the lack of punches. You got your overstitcher. That is
Where's
this
the punches?
pokey wheel. There ain't no punches.
Oh,
So I just said.
lack of punches.
Lack of punches. So you got your overstitcher wheel here. It's just a handle with a spinny, spiky wheel on it. That
Spinny spiky wheel.
Well, that's a technical term.
Yeah, pretty clear. This is going to set your stitch distance because you're going to be punching your holes by hand. So we've got a variety of sizes going in this here kit, which the overstitch kit again is 144, 57, 58. And we've got just a lot of sizes to pick from. So you can see you can get pretty intense with the number of stitches per inch here. You can't even see it. 8, yeah. You can see very tight spacing on that. A little more generous spacing on this guy. I find myself most often using something about this size. These all have discrete measurements that I cannot remember off the top of my head. Do you remember what they are? They're all numbered. We got a 13, a 10.
Discrete. Oh, is it stitches per inch?
Is that?
Yeah, it's so discreet that it's just stitches per inch.
Stitches per inch. I couldn't remember what it was. So, there it is. Stitches per inch is what those measurements
Basic
are.
SPI right there.
Yep. When I'm designing things, working on stuff, I have rarely planned it out that well that I know the stitches per inch I'm going to need, so I eyeball it. Just kind of go with what feels right and how many stitches I feel like doing. So I'm just going to go and use the one that's on here because that looks like a good distance for this project.
What's the number on it?
It's a 5. It's 5 stitches per inch is what that discrete measurement means. Clayton.
So, yeah, a big one factor that can help you decide on how many stitches per inch you want to do would be the type of leather that you're using. If you're stitching through a very loose grain, a type of leather that doesn't have a very good tensile strength, you might want to lengthen your stitches a little bit so you don't perforate the leather too much.
Yep.
Essentially, if you're punching too many holes, or in this case, stabbing too many holes with your awl, too many stitches per inch so close together, you're perforating it, so it makes it easier to tear, right? So really thick projects, if you're stitching through very thick, like a knife sheath or something, I would widen them out a little bit. I wouldn't go with your
13.
Your smallest one.
Yeah.
I would go with, maybe a little bit larger one. It can also help if you're going through thicker leather. If you don't keep that all perfectly straight and you're doing them real tight, close together, you can run into your other hole on the backside.
Right. And that's actually, I'll show out how to change these wheels. It's very simple, so I'll go and switch. It's got a little screw here. Comes a little screwdriver. It's never too snug, just break it loose. Drop your wheel out. Just a little barrel axle. So mix it up, going for 6 stitches per inch. Set your wheel in the middle. Push your axle back through, and now you've switched your wheel. Your overstitcher wheel.
Nice.
There we go. Simple. Still spins loosely. That fork there is a little wider than the wheel itself. So you'll notice it has a little play. That's not really going to be a problem while you're marking your holes, but it just means you won't accidentally over tighten it. You don't have to fiddle with getting everything just so precise. Just knock it out. Move on.
Fantastic.
So big difference here is I've got my line grooved in just like I did before, just with that marking blade. Instead of lining up and just punching all my holes on poly, I'm going to leave this on the granite. You hold this tool. I like to hold it where it's hooked down. There's a little bit of an angle here you can see. I like to hold it where it's pointing down, put it otherwise on the palm of my hand, and just keep an even pressure on it. You just line it up, start one tooth right on the edge of your line where you've determined your starting point is, and just roll it along. Put a good amount of pressure on there because these are your marks for your awl punching. Sorry, I can't talk while I do this.
It's okay.
If you pick up,
Moment of silence, please.
line up a tool right where you were. You can talk.
So typically you wouldn't use an awl and overstitcher unless it's all you have for hand stitching, but typically you wouldn't necessarily use it for a project like this. This type of project definitely more suited towards that other kit we had presented, the punch stitching kit, where it comes with the round hole punches, and you can go through and punch your stitching holes after it's assembled. Typically, you'll use an awl and overstitcher setup for your thicker projects, heavier projects, because really, these punches that come with this kit, they kind of have a maximum depth that they can go through. Now, funny enough, I've never actually looked into what the maximum depth is, but I'm going to say you're not going to make it through
Less than you think. Yeah.
You're not going to make it through more than 3/16 of an inch thick of leather, right?
Yeah. What is that, like leather weight?
In leather weight?
Yeah.
12 ounce.
12 ounce? Yeah. Oh, definitely not.
You're really going to have to drive it.
Yeah, I'll struggle fighting those through 7/8 ounce. just because they are tapered. So as you get deeper in that taper, your holes deform, it gets a little grip on the leather. As you go to pull it out, you might twist one way or another, further deform your hole. Leather stretches, it'll stretch the edge of your workpiece. You're going to run into a lot of problems. But just for if you don't know if you want to do leather work, but you sure want to give it a shot, I recommend the Overstitcher kit because it is your most versatile kit.
It is.
There's nothing you can't do with it.
That's true.
No limitations on this one. Alright, so once you've got that set, it is tape and fold. But before you've done any of this, dyed and tooled and finished.
Tool, dye, and
But you
finish.
should probably tool it first before you dye it.
You can.
I suppose.
Absolutely.
If you want to do it that way.
I mean, that's how you're going about it.
In no particular order.
Where snips go?
You know, maybe burnish those inside edges of the pockets.
Yep. Well, I had the other ones all burnished out.
Maybe
I was
put,
told I was wrong.
a nice looking crease along them.
Bevel it if you want to bevel it.
Don't even get me started on beveling.
Oh. Yeah, I would hate to get you started on beveling.
Don't.
Well.
So we covered that. That's good. Oh yeah, we simplified these kits quite a bit from where they were. We had, I think, an offering of 6 or 8 stitching kits that were kind of all over the place and overlapped a lot.
They're mostly Overstitcher kits, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't have a punch kit.
So again, I know a lot of you guys that are watching are experienced crafters, but if you've got somebody wanting to get into leather crafts, this is a great cost-effective way to get some simple tools in their hands and allow them to attach 2 pieces of leather together with thread.
There you go.
Bottom line.
Hey, as many pieces as you want.
Or lace. Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, the round hole punch kit, that's going to be, if you know someone that's like, I've been doing a little bit of research, that's probably a tool they've seen.
Yeah.
They might not have seen, if they're just doing some YouTube searching, they might not have seen it at all in Overstitcher. But they've probably seen those round hole punches.
Yeah. It's hard to see it all.
I'm working on it, Clayton.
Man, did we include quick snips with any of these kits?
Sure didn't.
God, Ryan.
Quick snip's also a very, very handy tool.
Super handy tool. These little snips he's using. Great while fishing.
Oh man,
I'll
fantastic.
tell you that.
I got several pairs just kicking around my house for various...
I think me and Liz were debating last time whether quick snips are used more by seamsters and seamstresses or by fishermen.
Is it like a teamster?
Yeah, but a seamster.
Do they only ever deal with seams, or can they do other stuff?
Oh, they can do anything.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. You can take them apart, use them as a knife.
Then they can put it back.
They're real pointy.
I like that you can take them apart. That makes them really easy to sharpen.
Absolutely.
I hate sharpening scissors usually.
You can throw them, stick them in the ceiling.
No, sir.
I'd rather you not.
Don't do that.
I actually use one to trim my mustache. No joke. Or little strays, you know.
Yep.
Keep the beard trimmed up. Ryan wouldn't know anything about that.
I'm not trimming a beard.
I mean, it's...
You know, there's a little risky for nose hairs.
We're living on the edge
But,
now.
you know, in a pinch, sure.
Some people skydive. Other people trim their nose hairs with quick snips. Gotta do something to feel alive. Oh, all right. Taped up. I like to use
goodness.
a roller.
I was running out of material. Did we include a roller with the kits, Ryan?
No, we did not.
No.
If you
These are all-
if you got a rolling pin at home, you can use one of those.
Absolutely. Also a tap with a little smooth-headed cobbler's hammer or something.
Old doorknob. I've used it before. I've seen a lot of people, especially in shoemaking, we use the old ceramic doorknobs. And they're great for when you're getting right around that stretch. They're perfect for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the tools I'm using that aren't in the kits are non-essential. You don't need them. They help. They're handy. You can live without them.
Yeah.
I did for probably I don't know, most of a year before I picked up more tools.
Absolutely.
Now that the camera guy left, we're going to move over to the stitching pony, which is going to be a whole different spot.
Different shot.
Yep.
Here comes Nick.
Well, I can do this up here for now
Brad.
in the main shot.
Oh, he's back.
Stitching pony, if you aren't familiar. This is one we carry, right?
Nope.
Nope.
This is
One we
a
thought about carrying.
special gift.
This is one we had in the room.
Pretty similar to what we carry. Well, all of them are pretty similar.
We talked about changing it
Mhm.
because that's a lot nicer than the one that we have. But getting the inventory, and I think,
Tricky.
may have been a issue.
I made my own at home. It's not a huge undertaking to make one,
That's that camera.
but they're also not a horribly expensive tool.
Here, we can just do that.
Yeah, there
We
we
could
go.
do that.
Good.
You were back
You
over
were
I
here.
had, to
here.
I had to go get a drink of water. I had something caught my throat.
you
Look,
did.
and I left the room, and you were bashing doorknobs.
No.
I was talking about how great they are.
Yeah, this is for like
Marvin gave that to me.
forming your saddle seat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Marvin does all the wet molding. Yeah.
A bouncing tool.
Taking care of your talent.
Talent though. Thanks.
All right.
So
Carry on with the stitching pony.
your basic construction of a stitch and pony when you're looking at one is you're gonna have some sort of slab coming off most of the time. Why are you shaking your head already?
Nothing. I was thinking about something else.
Some sort of arm sticking off to one side at the bottom of it, or two sides. The one I made myself is both sides. That, you can either stick it under a piece of granite as a weight, or put it under your leg. Sit on it, this thing sticks up in front of you. No suspect.
No, I'm good.
Alright. And then you've got your jaws. That is your main two pieces of a stitching pony. This is where you hold your work. Because when you're using an awl, you're not going to have a great time trying to do it without a stitching pony, unless you just lay your piece down and punch all your holes up front.
Is there? What? There's. So whenever you're using an awl and going through some thick leather,
Yeah.
like I'll use a knife sheath again as an example.
Oh,
Is there any handy tools you might already have at home to be able to keep your holes perpendicular while going through a large thickness of leather?
I do a lot of bag making, not sheath making.
Yeah,
So.
I was
Are there?
trying to bait you into it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, actually,
Whoa!
a lot of people will take. You can buy the awl blades separately and actually put them in their drill press. A drill press is super handy for keeping those holes perfectly perpendicular to the surface of your leather and going straight through.
That's clever. I like that.
Yeah, if you're going really thick knife sheaths, you might even have to drill them, but.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's a different video. Liz does some of that. She does some really nice knife sheaths,
She's great with us, yeah.
and yeah, we'll wait for her.
If you do make one, instead of putting a washer on that side, I'd countersink it slightly. So when you're trying to
So it
really
doesn't-
tighten
yeah.
it down, it doesn't just turn the whole bolt.
Right?
That's why we didn't go with this one.
Yep, exactly.
There's something else. I mean, I always get my thread caught
Yeah.
on either the wing nut or the
Yep.
carriage bolt side of it.
So mine, I've got a longer bolt sticking out on the one I made.
Yeah.
And when I'm working, I'll hang my spool of thread off it because I'm going to be doing multiple seams, multiple stitch lines per project. So I'll move it, rotate my piece, pull thread off, cut it. It's all right there. I'll also put a hinge down here. So instead of having to use this block to wedge it open and have it spring back, this flops open so I can get big bags and stuff that I'm working on in there.
I'd just screw it down to my bench, probably.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of hand stitching either.
Hey, everybody does it the way they want to do it. This one does have a handy feature of being able to rotate. I like that. Mine does not. Mine was a quick afternoon project. Let's see, I'll probably just put it in the granite, under the granite here for sake of not trying to sit on it on a stool.
Whatever you want to do, man. I'm up for anything.
Do that over there, so I'll just totally scratch it up. Don't worry about what that is. It's nothing.
All right. So, what is the weight that we offer these parts in? So we have our. He's working on the passport case right now, and this is the field note journal
With pen loop.
with pin loop. Both of them are the same basic construction. Looks like we offer them in. Drum roll, please.
I forgot to look into that.
Forgot to look it up.
Yeah, I'm
You mean the leather weights?
Yeah.
Or the leather?
The leather
leather
weights.
Here, I got it.
different ones.
I mean, it looks like a 4 ounce, maybe a 4 or 5.
Yeah, sounds about right. It feels right.
Yeah, it feels right. It's gonna be wrong. What did I say?
4 to 5.
4 to 5 ounce. Look at that.
Nailed it.
So 4 to 5 ounce veg tan.
Yep.
Great for your tooling, dyeing needs.
Yes, sir.
Get to it, Ryan.
There it is. All right, so you're gonna take your awl, and like I said, it is a flat blade. Can't really see it there, but a little bitty flat blade. So you're not just gonna be punching a needle hole. You're cutting a slit as you go. There we go. Hey, so you can see that. This one's seen better days, but it works. So you can see there, it's got 4 bevels on it, so sharpening these is an adventure every time. Because after years and years of use, they'll dull up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always up for an adventure.
Yeah. I always, on my awl at home, I've gone through and I've cut a flat spot at a specific point on it. So that way when I'm holding it, I can always index it to my thumb. So every time I'm punching a hole, they're all going to be at the same angle because I like a slanted stitch. I'm saddle stitching. You're shaking your head when you're comparing
Smart man.
micrometer readings yesterday, caliper readings yesterday. Consistent results. It's important. So on this one, I'm just going to kind of visually gauge it. And you just line it up. Like I said, I like a little bit of a slant. You can see I'm holding it tilted there. Yep, that's the way I want to do it. I'm going to think for a second. Nope, I want to turn it this way. Tilted slightly, bracing it with my thumb behind it, but out of the way of where that hole's going to be. Because this thing is sharp. And then you just
Talking about your hands being leather earlier.
Yeah.
We'll go through your hands.
stab on through. It's all the way through the leather. Pull it out. Move on to your next one. Oh, yep.
So how many times per project do you poke yourself?
Plenty. Yeah, plenty. Good number.
Yeah,
Good number.
you can poke yourself a little bit.
Yeah, my hands are
be
pretty
careful.
torn up. But yeah, like I said, plan ahead with your pokes.
Honestly, the best thing to prevent you from poking yourself and really doing some damage is keeping your awl sharp.
Yes, you don't have to fight it as much.
Yeah, if you're fighting a dull owl,
Ow.
I struggle. If you're fighting a dull owl, you're putting way too much force into it, and you're going to pop through the leather. You're not going to be paying as much attention to your finger placement.
Same thing with your knives, everything.
Yeah.
Keep them sharp.
Keep it sharp.
It's worth the time.
That's the whole name of the game in leathercraft.
Yep.
Keep everything sharp.
You can also make yourself a little safety pad,
Hey!
which I will do if I'm doing a lot. Just a scrap of leather.
Little owl cushion.
Yep. So I can just use that behind my piece here. And that way I'm not poking into my hand.
Well, I'll be.
Well, I'll be. And yep, just make sure when you're coming in, try and keep it as horizontal as you can. If you're at an angle, it's going to come out the other side unevenly. If you're over this way, what have you. So just make sure you get it as squared up as you can, exactly how you want your holes. Goes through. Move on. Alright, I'm going to punch some holes.
Okay. We'll be here.
Oh, good. Good.
I'll pick up your overstitcher wheels.
Thank you. Someone's going to clean up after me.
Nothing else in the no other questions there, Tony? Could you just make something up for our own entertainment?
Am I explaining it that well, or is what I'm explaining that uninteresting?
They're talking amongst themselves.
Well, that's good.
Oh, boy. Don't really draw a crowd.
Come on, guys. We need to make Ryan feel good. This is his first time here.
They never let me in this room. They always yell at me and throw things.
I mean, we don't, but we can.
No, I know you guys have heard my name on a few videos when I've popped in and handed Clayton a tool.
Oh, that didn't go in there.
It's a little easier punching your holes when you're right over your stitching pony because you've got a little more support.
So maybe you should maneuver your leather to where it's always in your pony.
That is the way to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do that because that's a whole lot of holes.
What's your favorite fish to catch, Clayton?
My favorite fish to catch?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I can pick the one fish that is my favorite.
Well, you're going to have to. You asked for a question, now it's been asked, and now you have to answer.
Okay, so I know Ryan and I are both big fans of trout fishing.
Yep.
We got some great trout creeks around here.
Brown trout?
Usually going for rainbow. I'd love to
Rainbow.
catch a brown trout.
Yeah.
Those bad boys get huge. But we found a lot of rainbows in some creeks around here. Both of us kind of got a line on our wild population of rainbows. Tell you what, with the kids, if you can just run into a big batch of sunfish.
Oh, it's a blast.
Oh, it is.
And they eat great.
Yeah, absolutely. Went out and caught some white bass about a month ago with another guy here. We work with Tommy. That was a lot of fun because you just get into them and you slay them.
Yeah, because it was right in the middle of the run, so
yeah,
just a ton of them for spawning season.
I like ocean fishing a lot though, like just fishing right off the beach.
Like redfish.
Redfish
Never have done
blast.
that.
Oh, it's so fun.
Seems like a good time.
How come you're just putting the tip of it in and you're not running the all the way through?
It doesn't need to get the whole blade through. That blade is
It widens out.
out. So I usually shoot for just where it starts to go straight. No need to push the rest of it through. Once you've got that maximum width on both sides, that's just wasted effort to keep pushing in my mind.
Phoebe's Vintage Gel versus Phoebe's Antique Paste. Do they work?
Do they work?
Do they work the same?
They work pretty similar. Vintage gel's much thinner viscosity, so it's actually going to penetrate the grain of leather and leave more color behind. It's going to change the overall color or tone of your project more than antique paste is going to.
If you want to know Denny's favorite, he will go with Vintage Gel.
Yeah, it's pretty nice stuff. It spreads on faster than antique paste. Spread it on, or make sure to resist your project if you want to resist it. Spread it on, wipe it off, and it does. It highlights your project really nicely.
Yeah.
On the jaws of your stitching pony,
Yes.
what weight of leather are they?
This looks like a 3/4. I mean, it's awful thin. But mine at home, I've got a little bit of veg pig on them. So that's in the 1 to 2 ounce range. 2, 3 maybe. All that's doing, it's not really providing any cushion or anything. It's just making sure that as you put projects in and out, you're not marring them. You're not marking them up. Just the corners of the wood there. Not terribly sharp, but they will leave little grooves and marks. These leather pads help minimize that, just like you saw in the Explorer backpack video, if you watched that.
Yeah, if you're going to coat the ends of your stitching ponies, make sure and use like a natural veg.
Yeah.
Don't use like an oil tan or something. You'll be...
It'll bleed color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least some oil on your, dry veg if you're stitching on it.
Yep.
Ronnie, if you would like to use a cork instead of another piece of leather on the backside.
No problem with that.
Cork it up. Or vegan leather, as somebody put it.
Well, I think they were talking about a piece of cork, like from a wine bottle or something.
Oh.
Like instead of a leather pad as your safety mitt here?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's clever.
Okay.
That
Sure.
should be a little more maneuverable too. Good thinking.
Or a potato, maybe.
It might bring some potato residue.
You could use a potato.
You could, yeah. If that's what you wanted to use.
There are no stupid ideas, okay?
There are wrong ideas.
That ain't one of them.
Mitten falls into the...
Oh, man.
Nearly there. This also, it's going to take you longer than using the punch set.
Yeah.
But, holes all the way around, same result. You can see I didn't quite stay on my line, I got a little wiggly. I don't use an awl as much as I do a punch set. But I kept my angle pretty consistent where that slit runs this... Whoop, I'm just going to look at my hand this way.
Pretty consistent.
Pretty consistent, not terribly consistent.
So if you're using an awl and you just want to put the tip in, you can just put the tip in, or you can just put the whole thing in if you want to.
All right.
Nothing, Nick? Nothing. You little giggle box.
Alright, with this, you can get a little more refined with your stitching technique. Where's my block? I'm not used to this system. Pry block. It's odd. Alright. You can get a little more fiddly or precise with your stitching technique because your leather has slits, not holes. So with that, your thread, as it goes through, is going to take on an angle. It's not going to lie straight along your whole seam. But each stitch is going to have an angle to it. So you've got to keep that in mind or else it looks messy.
What if you had an angled awl or an angled
Needle?
an angled punch?
I've got one. Angled punch, yeah, you can use like diamond chisels or something like that, or French pricking irons. You'll get the same deal as with the awl, but a lot faster than using an awl. I personally like the French pricking irons. We sell sets here that are fantastic.
Maybe that's our next stitching kit.
Well, I'd love to. I've been using those things like crazy lately. Really clean stitch work like you're using awl, but I'm not spending all day punching every single hole on what I'm working on. Otherwise, saddle stitch, same basic idea, 2 needles. I'll stay there, I guess, now. Now we're onto the 0.8 millimeter thread.
Rhinoceros thread.
Rhinoceros thread, fresh off the rhino.
Don't tell people that.
I was really excited when we got the 0.8 in. You wouldn't think that 0.2 millimeter is a huge difference in thread size, but boy, it's
Well, it's 20%.
there you go. It's noticeable. It's very, very noticeable. Yeah, I've now exposed my bad habit. I just realized if I hold my needles in my mouth, I probably shouldn't do that. It's not really advisable. Poke yourself a lot. But your harness needles are not terribly sharp, as you can see. They're fairly blunted because your holes are already there. Glover's needle, sharper. You need to put the holes in. So on this one, I'm not going to do my initial back stitch like I did on the punches. I'm just going to start right out on my first hole.
Why?
I already showed that, and this, I like the cleaner look on the start with this awl, or with a slanted stitch, of not having that initial back stitch. I'll usually find somewhere to put my back stitch that there's something else going on that you won't notice it as much. So had I thought about it, I would have punched a stitch line to here and had my back stitch going over that lip. And my back stitch going over this lip, so I would have stitched them both different directions. Did not think of that ahead
It
of time.
defeats the purpose of the middle part that you talked about earlier that just adds to the whole aesthetic of the project.
Yeah, but slanted stitch looking at different aesthetics. It's all personal preference. I'm giving options here. But with this, your needle order, again, same deal. But instead of being able to pull it all the way through, you've got to stop right where you are and push it down to the bottom of your slot. There we go. Get my hand out of the way so it'll focus. Then bring your other needle up through the top of it. And now you've got to make sure you pull your threads the correct directions, vertically. Because that matters now.
Keep them on the right side of each other, huh?
Yep. And that is how you get a nicely slanted stitch.
Have you found that when you don't wrap your thread around your needle that you find any different effect of it?
Yes. So if I were to not wrap my right hand thread over the top of my left hand needle when it comes through, it doesn't give the slant on the back. You'll end up with a straight back and a slanted front stitch. I like the look of it a little slanted on both, and it also further encourages that slant on the front, because those threads, they don't have very far to travel. So if you can set that slant on both sides, it really exaggerates it and gives you the look you're after.
Nice.
And also, I've just drilled it into my head as part of my process, because if you do it the same way every time, you'll continue to do it the same way every time.
Consistent results.
Yep. You can see I'm pulling my left hand up, right hand down. And now we're starting to see that slant a little bit. Thread over.
Keep your stupid hands out of the way.
Oh, it's tough when you're sewing.
Hand stitching, sir.
Oh!
Yep. So you can see on the back side we've got a little bit of that slant. On the other side it is much more pronounced.
What size of needle are you using?
00. That is what comes in the kit. Or not 00. That answered so confidently and so incorrectly. 0, small harness needle.
Single aught.
Single aught. Yeah, I don't know why I said 0. Man, I know better.
Clayton.
You didn't say 0, you said O, which is completely different.
I'm way off base.
O is a letter, sir.
Aren't you in charge of the R&D department?
This guy's new.
It's been good.
Give him a break, okay?
Yeah,
Thanks.
next month, if you can teach him that zeros are aughts.
I've only
we're
been
talking
working
about
with
needle
him.
sizes, please. Next video is going to be on zeros and aughts.
You're doing a great job, Ryan.
Thanks, Chad.
It ain't Ryan's fault that Clayton hasn't taught him.
Chad's nice. I like Chad. So with these, I'm using the smaller thread. They don't quite fill up the slits that I punched as well. So with that slit having a little more room for the thread to wiggle around in, you can see I've got a really slight slant to my stitch.
A slight slant.
A slight slant. And that is going to be a little more forgiving to you. Those French irons have no opening. You can see on these, especially on this side, there's a bit of an opening there where there's dead space in the middle. Your threads will really move around in there, so it's really tough. You've really got to use a larger thread to get that tight, slanted, classic stitching. I wanted to do a more subtle, you can see they're stacked here, but they're not really sitting at an angle. So, again, your thread size can make a big difference. The 0.8 thread in the round hole punches looks a little silly. You can see the holes, whereas with the 1 mil, you can't really see the holes. It fills them out pretty well.
What if you wanted to see the holes?
Smaller thread.
Could you make that design decision?
Nobody wants to do
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Go for it. I'm carrying a wallet right now that I think Stacy made, that gray one.
Yeah.
You can see the holes on
black.
that one. Well, yeah, it's...
With ghost waxing.
Yeah, we selling that leather yet?
Yeah, we are. Are you taking pictures of it yet?
Yeah, I got a bunch. I quit taking pictures because it kind of stopped. It kind of stopped aging. But this one, you can
Roll it out there.
you can see the holes a little bit. A little larger hole with the thread. And it just gives a different aesthetic. But yeah, this is a black veg, white wax on it. Starts out just completely white. Looks awesome as it ages.
Italian veg ghost.
Italian veg ghost. Item number.
Yeah. The item number is ghost.
Oh, well, there you go. It's cool stuff. I think we're going to be playing around with it a little more in R&D. Trying to get the hang of it.
Get some sample products done up.
Yeah.
We already did a bunch of sample projects. We did a whole video on it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, we
I don't
need to do
know
some
if it's a sample
samples.
project.
For the floor.
We're doing something for retail, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 2 of them sitting on my desk.
Well, that's
Well,
not
why are
doing
they
anything
there?
good.
That doesn't do anybody any good.
Using the leather. We did a whole video on it.
Yeah. That's what you said.
That doesn't help someone who hasn't seen the video and walks in on retail.
Well, that's why we saved them on YouTube, where you can go and look at them anytime you'd like.
They're
So
preserved forever on the tubes.
I'm pretty sure that they're also linked on the item itself.
Oh yeah. That way,
Probably
someone,
playing on the big screen out there right now.
someone walks in on retail, we say, hold up, pull out your phone. Watch this video.
We've talked about getting iPads out on the floor.
Ooh, or we could put QR codes above some of the leather selections that we've done videos on.
Well, that's why you would have that on there, where the QR code where you could put it on your own phone, or you could just pull it up on the iPad right there at retail and use it.
There's so many options.
Yeah.
Little media kiosk.
We can get the little museum, like,
Get some little theater
Walkman
chairs
things.
put in there.
Right next to the cowhide rugs.
Yeah.
We can do the audio tour, little, like, Walkman devices like museums have.
Yeah, Grace talks about Walkmans. Grace knows what a Walkman is now.
I just learned the other day.
I keep my references current.
Yeah.
Really keep it sharp.
We could get someone famous to narrate the tour, like Morgan Freeman or Robert Redford or something.
What's wrong with mine?
Brad Pitt's a Springfield native.
Yeah, he might do it for us.
Yeah, easy.
Brad Pitt, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Narrate a store tour, maybe.
John Goodman.
John Goodman?
Thursday.
Yep.
Hey. Bob Barker.
I like the way I
Yep.
sound, though.
Bob Barker still around.
I don't know. That's a toughie.
Well, huh. It's almost like talking about Liz's neighbors.
Let's see. I thought I had something to say and changed my mind.
Change my mind on talking.
All right. So we're going to finish this up.
Yeah.
So you got a little ways to go on your hand stitching. What time is it?
I mean, we've only been going for about an hour and a half.
No kidding.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds good. So to wrap up here, our new lacing, hand stitching, and heavy hand stitching kit.
Got less now.
What?
It's been going.
You got your phone sitting right there with the clock on it.
Yeah, I didn't want to be rude and check it. I'll check it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Says the time right there.
12:35, lunchtime.
Yep.
Anyway, we really wanted to do this video to present our new kits that we developed for you guys. One more shot here, Tony. Hand lacing kit. Get your great for beginners. Your packaging there. Is that upside down?
Upside down.
Here goes this.
Wow.
Spilling stuff all over the place.
Yeah. How much comes in it?
Right.
Can't contain the value.
There's all kinds of stuff, man. So 1445738 for hand lacing kit. Awesome for people that just want to get into the craft. 1445748 for your punch stitching kit. This is great for lighter weight projects. Be able to punch your straight line holes and do a little hand stitching. And then we've got this is our overall hand stitching kit for heavy stitching or even lighter projects if
Anything
you want.
you go for.
144-5758. Awesome. Ryan, great debut, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Clayton. It was a good time.
We'll keep working with you on the whole ot issue, but
Got some learning to do.
yeah, I think you guys probably doing some sort of weird after party, right? Twitch?
Yep, Twitch.
You're gonna be twitching.
Go.
What are you guys doing?
Well, I need to set up leathers on the table, but I don't have a whole lot of time to set leathers up on the table because I need to fill the live shopping from last week and then make it because Liz has left me for this week.
Liz is gone.
Wow.
Hopefully she'll return next week.
We'll see what happens.
She gets lost in Disneyland.
What are we doing on Friday?
Trading cards.
Trading
Trading
on
cards.
Friday.
Yep.
Oh, fun.
Come back Friday at 11 a.m. I think that's with Kevin and Denny.
That makes sense.
Tooling some trading cards, and I think Liz was talking Kevin into tooling a morel. Hopefully that's going to happen.
Oh, doing a mushroom on a card.
That'll be
I
tricky.
mean, hopefully. He's done some morels in the past. Lindsay's got a picture that he tooled up on her.
I've seen that. I was
Our
wondering who
office.
did that. It's great. Love that
Absolutely.
thing. Yeah.
All right,
Hey.
tomorrow for live shopping, Holly and I will be doing it.
Tomorrow for live shopping. Holly and
That guy. Going over there.
Totally Tubular Tony.
Okay, there we go.
All right, guys.
See ya.
I'm done. Appreciate it. Have a
Take it
good
easy.
one.